Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 23 Formula 2 season in the 2022 cars. We're here for the third round of the championship at Imola. So, a circuit that is, well, very tricky. I would say this is the hardest circuit on the calendar, probably harder than Monaco. I really don't have high hopes for this weekend, especially because I've actually turned up the difficulty, given that results have been coming fairly easily so far. So we'll see how it goes as we line things up out of the final corner, and we're going to complete our first lap in qualifying. Well, fortunately the lap was absolutely awful, so yeah, we pushed on for a second consecutive lap, not something I would normally do because we only have the one set of tyres in F2 qualifying, but we actually ran out of fuel on that lap anyway, so it was not important. But with the recent tyre strategy glitches that we've been getting, or that we got in Saudi Arabia, I didn't want to put too much wear on these tyres, just in case we need them at some point. But you can see we were improving on that lap quite significantly, and there was more time to find in the final sector, which we never got to see. So that's a little bit annoying that that has happened, but nonetheless, we will...
Okay, there are only a few cars out on track. We should consider getting out there.
we will get out there once again and set yet another lap in qualifying. So you know, these tyres are going to have a total of 6 laps on them by the time qualifying is finished. Hopefully that does not come back to haunt us later in the weekend. But anyway, you can see missing all the apexes there, so that was not a good run through that section. And there's just so many chicanes around this circuit that are quite tricky to navigate, and just other weirdly shaped corners. It is, yeah, really not my thing. But anyway, it's on the calendar and we have to deal with it. Not every track can be your favourite, and this is one where I think we're going to struggle. But I say that we are finding some decent improvement over our previous lap, and if this race continues, we should be able to lift ourselves off the back row of the grid, and at least get in amongst the pack and be in with a chance of grabbing some points once we get underway for the racing action. But yeah, we are just not at one with the circuit around here at Imola. Things will get better throughout the weekend. It's just the kind of circuit where it takes time to get up to speed, but I'm never going to be as comfortable here as I am, say, at Bahrain, where we had a great weekend. But anyway, DRS open towards the line, and we do find a decent chunk of improvement, a massive chunk of improvement actually, but we still are left last, and yeah, we found a lot of time there, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough, and everyone else improved by even more.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
The rain won't affect us in qualifying. The session will be over by the time that arrives. But yeah, that is it for us. We're not going to go out again. We've already taken the best out of the tyres.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are
Cordial, Vips, and Marino Sato.
The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye.
Well, there we have it. Back of the grid for us, unfortunately. But that's just how it goes sometimes. The qualifying session did not go our way. Mari Cordial takes pole position. Marino Sato third. Finally, a good result for him in qualifying. Hopefully he can carry that momentum forwards into the race. For the sprint race, it'll be an all-trident front row. Callan Williams will take reverse grid pole ahead of Frederick Vesti, with Liam Lawson starting third in that one. Ayumu Iwasa just misses out on reverse grid pole. But anyway, let's get into it.
Welcome to all those joining us as we kick off another round of thrilling Formula 2 racing at Imola. It's 3.1 miles around Imola with 19 turns to master, 9 right-handers and 10 left. And note as well that Imola is one of the few tracks that's driven anti-clockwise.
Keep an eye on the exit from turn 18. A good exit there, leading into the circuit's only DRS zone, will probably be the setup for some of today's best overtaking opportunities. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Alrighty, so here we are on the grid for the sprint race here at Imola. So, no strategy in this one. Everyone, of course, will be starting on the medium compound tyres, which we'll be using for the duration of the race. So, yeah, no one trying anything different here. So with that said, there isn't much else left to discuss. A little bit of rain forecast towards the end of the race, actually. So that's interesting. So we'll have to watch out for that. But anyway, we now go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. And it's a brilliant start here in the sprint race at Imola. We're going to charge our way down the right hand side. We actually run out of places to go there and we have to lift out of it. So unfortunately we actually just drop all the way to the back once again. So we couldn't make the most of a very good start off the grid. And now we're just going to take it cautiously.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Yeah, we have no issues with the tyres. Little bit of a off-roading moment there, but no harm done. And yeah, we've dropped well off the back of the field, so what was initially a fantastic launch has not materialized into a very good first lap so far. We immediately catch up though due to just the natural field spread coming back towards us, and now we can try and potentially gain a few positions as we close in and down the inside, and we're trying to sneak through on Tatiana Calderon. She gives us the room, and that is one position gained in this race. 11 more, and the fastest lap we might get a point, but generally the top 8 who are guaranteed points here in the sprint race. Radio.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Big lunge down the inside of Felipe Drugovich, who's had a terrible qualifying, it's got to be said, by his lofty standards, but we make the move on him and move ourselves up into P20 now. So it's slow progress, but we are chipping away and getting through the field as we make the move down the inside of Ralph Bosch and Marcus Armstrong just up ahead. We can't pass either of them though, as we now drift out wide into the gravel. That might give the opportunity now to Felipe Drugovich behind. He looks down the inside, we give him the room as we run side by side. We missed the apex a bit there as a right-hander, but that does allow us to hold on to the position as Tatiana Calderon now tries to capitalize on that, and she may be able to get through on Felipe Drugovich, still behind for the time being. We continue to push on, and we've got a bit of a train of cars in front of us, tail-ended by Ralph Boschem, but clearly there's someone not going at full speed up ahead as we go off the road there. That allows that allows Felipe Drugovich through. Tatiana Calderon still behind us. Goodness me, we'll make an absolute mess of this as Tatiana Calderon now is looking for the move. We have to go quite defensive there in order to hold the position, and this is only the fights for second, last and last. So yeah, we're really struggling to keep pace in this one. Well, the pace itself is alright, but the mistakes are what are really costing us as we continue through. And yeah, if we can get through this line of cars in front of us, that would be fantastic. We make the move down the inside of Felipe Drugovich, and we get that one done. The difficult thing is, because everyone's got DRS, we can't make moves all that easily, and Drugovich getting a nice switchback there is not going to help matters either for us, as we have a DRS along the run towards turn 1. Drugovich still hanging around looking for the move back down the inside. We're going to see if we can go late on the brakes here to hold him off, and as we go bouncing over the curves, we manage to do so and maintain the position as we drift wide there again. Big slide that time. Drugovich looks for the move down the inside. We block quite heavily and managed to maintain the position. But it's just that's cost us so much time in that little skirmish there. This time Calderon's actually able to get through on Felipe Drugovich, and now Calderon will become the problem for us as we continue to make these mistakes. And yeah, I just cannot get into a rhythm around this circuit. It's not working for me. Calderon gets through. Easy move for her there as we're just struggling so much.
Keep on them, they might make a mistake.
And yeah, this is a really tough race. We throw the car off the road there completely. Just frustration building as things were not going our way, and eventually we ended up off the road. So
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
yeah, no damage to the car. I honestly felt like they must have been for us to have, you know, be having the troubles we were. But yeah, with that mistake going off the road, I think our chances of doing anything special in this race are officially over. We'll see how it goes. We're already quite a way through the race. We do catch up to Felipe Drugovich once again, as I believe he has damage. Not sure if that was through contact with me or with Calderon, probably the former. But anyway, we'll see if we can make the move on Felipe Drugovich to salvage something from this race. And yeah, might be all we can do. So big lunge down the inside, and we just about manage to get the move done on Felipe Drugovich. Move ourselves up into P21.
Nice move, good job.
But I think that's all we're going to be able to achieve in this one. We actually did damage the car at some point later in the race. Meanwhile, out in front, Callan Williams, absolute domination by the Australian. Look at the gap back to second place. They're not even in the same camera shot there. Amazing drive from him. It actually started raining towards the end of the race. Didn't really affect things though as we come across the line. And
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
we end up finishing the race at P20. I think Teo Porcher retired, which is what gave us that extra position. But ultimately, that's not going to have any effect on our weekend. And it's a bad day for us.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for Trident today. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be Trident picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for coming out on top in that amazing race.
So it is Callan Williams who takes race victory for Trident. A brilliant race by him. Second place it goes to Jane Deruvula, and Richard Verschoor makes it a double podium for Trident.
And now, let's take a look at the drivers' standings. It was not the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
I'd probably go for Callan Williams. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in the pack, and he was good enough to take the opportunities.
On to the teams then. Virtuosi moved to the top of the table. Meanwhile, Prema have improved their position. A strong weekend for them as they fight their way to the top. After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Alrighty then, let's have a little run through the finishing order. Of course, we just saw Williams, Deruvula and Verschoor on the podium. Behind them came the Kiwi Liam Lawson, followed by our teammate Marino Sato. A decent drive from him from 8th to 5th in that race. Very nice work. Behind Sato came Dennis Hauger, Amari Cordial and Clement Novalak taking the final points. Interestingly, three drivers rather, are on 4 points at this stage of the weekend. Sato with a 5th place, Hauger with a 6th place and a fastest lap, and then Cordial with a 7th place and a pole position. They all equate to 4 points, which is interesting. But anyway, in terms of the drivers' standings, Amari Cordial closes in by 2 points, or 4 points really, if you include the pole position points as well, and he's now at 16 points behind us. Marino Sato moves up to 8th in the standings, tied with Teo Porcher for 8th and 9th on 16 points, 46 points adrift from us. In terms of the team standings, we maintain the championship lead with the points that Marino Sato was able to score. We stay at 14 points ahead of the Van Amersfoort team. Prema are next, 26 points behind. So that is how things stand after the sprint race here at Imola. But yeah, it's been a tough weekend so far for us. So I think for the final race, to avoid a repeat of the disaster that was that race, I'm going to have to turn the difficulty down back to where it was previously, just for the rest of this round, because I am really struggling with this circuit. So yeah, I think that's something we're oh my goodness me, something we're gonna have to do. I cannot speak for some reason, but anyway, yeah, with that said, I think it is time we move on to the sprint race. Once again, we'll be starting from the back. Amari Cordial from pole position. Our championship rival will be right at the front, along with our teammate Marino Sato in third. It's going to be a good race between them. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Imola as we get ready for another glorious day of Formula 2 action. Imola's unusual in that it runs anti-clockwise, taking in 19 turns along its 3.1 miles of tarmac. 9 of those are right-handers, with the remaining 10 as left-handers. Now, the F2 drivers here today need to keep in mind the elevation. Pay attention to turn 7. A slow exit from here will lose a driver a lot of time as they struggle to accelerate uphill. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's results with a look at the starting grid. Amari Cordial lines up on pole position. And starting alongside in P2 is Yuri Vips. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sato, Hauger, Clement Novalak, and Porcher. Deruvala, Lawson, Vishaw, Callan Williams, Ewasa, Hughes, Ollie Caldwell, Logan Sargent, Vesti, Boschong, Drugovic, and Roy Nissani. Fittipaldi, Armstrong, Calderon, and Jack Doohan completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Alrighty, so here we are on the grid for the... oh, it's happened again. The feature race here at Imola. And we have the tyre strategy glitch once again. Our medium tyres, pretty much only good for a lap. So, yeah, I couldn't even put in the strategy I wanted to, just due to the way the strategy works. What I want to do is start on the super softs. We'll move on to the mediums for one lap in the middle of the race, and then we'll go back onto the super softs to finish off and hope we get a safety car to get us out of trouble. Lights out and away we go for the feature race here at Imola. Everyone else is starting on the mediums as we rocket ship our way through. We're going to go to the left this time, learn from the mistakes of race 1, and now we eventually run out of room as the cars are going 3 wide in front of us. But that's been a mega start for us. We've gained a bunch of track position, and that is crucial because we're on softer tyres. We need to make our way through the field swiftly in the early phases of this race. So yeah, being able to get a good start.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
And a clean start, no damage to the car. We've already done a third of the work. We're up to P14. in this race. The big lunge down the inside, and that might be another position for us as we squabble away and get the move done on Ayumu Iwasa. And now we are absolutely flying in a straight line as we make the move also on Jake Hughes. Next up is Ollie Caldwell. Let's see if we can make the move on him. We go for the lunge down the inside. We have a little think about going down the inside of the trident there of Callan Williams. Not going to get the move done though until later on. But the traction, the grip we have is just unbelievable. The difference between this race and last. Of course, we're on the softer tyres on a slightly lower difficulty. I didn't change it by too much, but has made all the difference. And now we are charging through the field with confidence. So yeah, we are feeling amazing in this race. And the tyre compound as well, because it's a two-step difference between the mediums and the super softs. And these are brand new super softs versus the others who are potentially on worn mediums. It's yet to be seen what their strategy will be if they only last a couple of laps. We're at the end of lap 2 now, and as we almost get tricked into driving into pit lane there. Marino Sato into the pit lane, along with just about everyone else, because apparently everyone else had the tyre glitch as well. So yeah, that is us released from the field and up into the lead. So yeah, we'll see how this race plays out from here. It is anyone's guess. Meanwhile, this is the fight for the lead out of everyone who started on the medium compound tyres. This is Marino Sato chasing down Amari Cordial and going for the move down the inside. Sato is fighting for our championship, fighting for his own race victory here as well. And Marino Sato gets the move done and puts Amari Cordial down one position, moves himself up into actually what is effectively second place, because Teo Porcher is running longer on the mediums. So yeah, it's interesting to see that he's doing that. Eventually we come into the pit lane. Porcher has made his pit stop by this point as well, but because Porcher retired, he had fresher mediums to start the race on than everyone else, and that might just allow him to do a one stop in this race, and that would be a guaranteed victory. Everyone else is going to have to use both sets of the super soft compound to get to the end, just because the mediums are only good for a lap. Because to explain what is actually happening here, the medium tyres we just put on the car that we should be doing the rest of the race on are the medium tyres we just used in the sprint race. For some reason this glitch has come back again.
Line on the exit will receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
And yeah, it is not track specific to Saudi Arabia. It is also here at Imola. I don't recall it happening in Bahrain.
Push hard, push. And they're on old super softs.
But anyway, whatever has happened, these tyres they're not going to make it to the end of the race. They are already basically destroyed, so we need to pit again. We need to get some super softs on. These are now our qualifying tyres going onto the car.
Go. That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
And yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Last stop, no more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
We've dropped down into P21 at this point, so yeah, it's going to be a tough grind to find our way back through the field. I'm really hoping for a safety car, but we'll see if luck is on our side.
And they're on old super softs. Their tyres are 17 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. Okay, so that's P20 right now, P20. Okay, Boschung ahead. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 1.4 seconds.
And that 1.4 second gap to Boschung does come down rather quickly, as you know, there are a few others, as you sort of just saw there, that still need to make it their final stops. A late move on Ralph Boschung. He's on much older super soft tyres than we are. I think he still has his final stop to make. He's lacking a lot of pace in this race, so I think he may have an issue or some damage to that car. But anyway, we move ourselves up a few more spots as everyone else makes their final pit stop up into P16 with a little late maneuver there on Felipe Drukovic, who's still getting up to speed out of pit exit. So, you know, I think this now is where our actual track position is. so the rest of the moves we have to make. Oh no, we've gained one more through pit stops. Now we go for the lunge down the inside of Frederick Vesti, and yeah, now I think everyone is going to the end. So yeah, we had a little bit of a kangaroo moment over the curbs there, bouncing high into the air, but we're able to get away with that. Somehow we haven't damaged the floor through all of those moments over the curbs, as Roy Nassani retires from the race with a mechanical failure. Unfortunately though, no safety car, that would have really helped us. But meanwhile up the road, this is the battle. We are trying to catch up to Callan Williams on the back of Ayumu Iwasa, and yeah, Williams not having quite the race he did in the sprint race, where he was utterly dominant, just pulled away from the field. Still showing good pace in this one, but I think strategy has dropped in down a couple of spots, but as well as maybe a bad start, losing a few places there. So yeah, hasn't quite gone his way in this one, but we make the move down the inside of Callan Williams and move ourselves
nice
up
work, mate. That brings you up a place.
into P13 as we get a little bit wide and a bit shaky off the exit there, but no big deal. We're still ahead and clear of Callan Williams. Meanwhile up the road, the fight between Marino Sato and Amari Cordial heats up, and once again Cordial going all the way around the outside, and that is a beautiful move by Amari Cordial, and he regains second position on track. Teo Porcher way up the road with his one-stop strategy after his mechanical failure in the first race. That's ironically going to easily win him the feature race, which is the one that pays the big points. So maybe there's something we can learn from that one. Anyway, we go for the move now down the inside of Yumu Iwasa, and we get the move done. We're a little bit tentative there. It was a late move. Iwasa saw us coming as we have a big old wobble on the exit there, and Iwasa is now right on the back of us. We actually got a DRS. I don't know if we activated it though.
Increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap.
And yeah, we didn't. That would have helped us fend off Marino Sato, but unfortunately we didn't activate the DRS. Obviously didn't hear the beep. But anyway, we managed to hold him off, and we remain in P12.
So don't be too aggressive.
And once again, we check the car for any floor damage from the curbs.
Okay, we're sat in P12 now. Hughes ahead.
And no damage though, which is all good. Jake Hughes is up next, as we've got just on 2 laps to go in this race now, as they come around the final corner, and we will soon begin the penultimate lap with Jake Hughes and Amari, and sorry, with Ollie Caldwell right in front of us. Cordial is well up the road in second place, but Caldwell is the gatekeeper of the points. So if we can get past him, that will be fantastic news for us, and we will score 2 points in this race with the fastest lap we have at the moment. We're almost pushing Jake Hughes, rattling on the gearbox as we have a look to the inside, and another look, and another look, and we just can't quite get there. Jake Hughes holds on, but we had a few little goes there, but we're never really close enough. It's not the ideal shaped corner to be going for an overtake. Into the first corner though on the final lap, we do finally clear Jake Hughes, and now we have a straight shot at Ollie Caldwell, who as I said is guarding the last point, and we'll see if we can make the move. We're not close enough at this tight little chicane. This has been one of my favourite overtaking opportunities throughout the race. Meanwhile up the road, Teo Porcher crosses the line to take an easy victory. Strategy going his way in this one, but meanwhile for us, we're going to make the move down the inside of Ollie Caldwell, and we get the job done. Move ourselves up into P10, and we'll grab the final point with just 2 corners to go. A bit wide on the exit. Caldwell will have a look, but I think we'll be able to hold him off as we run to the line. We're out of fuel. We squeeze Caldwell all the way to the edge, and did we hold him off? No, we didn't. Ollie Caldwell grabs the last point back as we cross the line. P11 for us. Running out of fuel on the way to the line. Oh goodness.
Victory for ART then, after a quality performance. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. ART, the French team who have been racing since the 90s in various forms of motorsport, are once again back on the winner's podium today after a brilliant display of driving skill.
So it is Teo Porcher who takes race victory here at Imola. Emery Cordial finishes in second position, holding off Marino Sato, a cracking battle between those two. The Japanese driver finishes third.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship.
Emery Cordial takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship.
Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Teo Porcher. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of the tires, and he showed that today.
And now a look at the team standings.
Virtuosi move to the top of the table.
Meanwhile, a strong weekend from ART this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. There will be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you'll join us at the next race when Formula 2 returns.
Alrighty then, let's have a little run through the finishing order of the race, and then we'll have a look at how the standings have been affected. Teo Porcher, of course, took victory ahead of Cordial and Sato. It was an amazing race between those two, swapping positions at multiple points throughout the race. Great drive from the pair of them, and in the end, only a second and a half apart, with Teo Porcher not as far ahead as I would have thought, 11.4 seconds up the road. That said, I guess everyone else did spend basically the whole race on the super soft tyres, so that could have had an effect on that. But anyway, in terms of the driver standings, Emery Cordial takes the lead on 64 points. We remain on 62 with no points scored for us. We're now 2 points behind Emery Cordial. In third sits Teo Porcher, 22 points adrift, and then behind Porcher comes Ayumu Iwasa, 26 points away. Those are the real contenders. Sato gains a whole bunch of positions after this one. He sits on 31 points, 33 points adrift, and is in 5th place in the standings now. In the team's standings, we still lead the way. Sato doing a great job this weekend to minimise the damage to Van Amersfoort after Cordial took pole position. Van Amersfoort only gained 3 points on us over the course of the weekend. So Sato really did a great job to maximise his opportunities in this one. Prema Racing are in third, 35 points behind. Van Amersfoort second, 11 points behind. I don't know if I read out that number before, but yeah, we are still at the top of the team's championship, so as a team we are doing well enough. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one. It was a tough weekend, but we'll hope for better luck next time. But yeah, thanks for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give us some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful. And on that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.